Welcome, it's denome, and we got new information on the Binance situation, and I really want to talk about it right now because this may affect what you want to do with your crypto assets, and definitely it has affected how I view the market as well. So I'll briefly talk about what happened, and then at the end of the video, I will talk about the impact of this and the likely outcomes of what this actually means for us. So anyway, what happened is we have new information on the SEC against Binance lawsuit. So what this new information shows us here is that there is a company called Merit Peak, which is an offshore trading company controlled by the Binance CEO CZ Binance or Changpeng Zhao. And Merit Peak has received about $11 billion of client assets in total. It does not show how much of those funds have gone back to Binance, but it seems like the Merit Peak was like a pass-through company, and there may have been some siphoning of customer funds. So this article is a little bit misleading in the way that it says received about $11 billion, but it doesn't show, okay, how much of that money actually went back to Binance. But this is all the money that it has received. So it's only one side of the accounting, right? How much money is coming in and how much money is going out, that they don't report in this article. So keep that in mind as well. But anyway, SEG alleges that Binance and Zhao used Merit Peak and another company called Sigma Chain to basically commingle corporate funds with client assets and use the money as they please. So this is, of course, a major red flag. If the CEO is using customer funds as he pleases, that's terrible. That's awful. And because this is mentioned or reported by SEC, not just some journalist or anything like that, we have to take this seriously because this will have an impact if this actually is proven correct in the court. Again, going forward, $11 billion were sent to the Merit Peak, which were received between 2019 and 2021. So that's the money that went there. We don't know what happened with the money. That's what they don't report here. And unfortunately, it's a little bit misleading because we don't know if this was basically just a company that Binance used, but they just failed to report in the corporate structure, and then it's all good. Or how much money actually was siphoned from this company. We don't actually see that. So it's a little bit annoying reporting, to be honest. But anyway, that's what they say here. Binance, of course, denies mixing customer deposits with company funds. Fine. That's to be expected. Of course, they don't admit anything until at the last second, of course. Zhao's personal funds basically acted as a pass-through account, like I said, for billions of dollars of Binance platform's customer funds. Okay. 2019 and 2023, that's when the Sigma Chain company became active, and that bank account basically has received again about $500 million. But again, we don't see how much money from that actually has been siphoned by CZ Binance and others. So again, it's a little bit misleading here. Then they continue here. Through 2022, US account for company called Swipe Wallet, which is again owned by CZ Binance or Zhao. It sent $1.5 billion in foreign exchange wires offshore. So again, this is kind of like a red flag, or at least an orange flag. Like, why are you sending money offshore to another company when these are customer deposits? So there may be some very serious things going on with Binance, and most likely there are at least some kind of siphoning of money, as what we are reading so far. But this is not great. $1.5 billion is a lot of money, and we don't know what happened with it. Anyway, Swipe Wallet is basically a company that was acquired by Binance in 2020, and so far there has not been any public posts on Swipe's social media accounts, which I'm not too surprised about, to be honest, because Swipe, it was actually a company that I invested in the token SXP that they had for a while, because it was a crypto.com competitor. But then they started doing all of these shady things. They got acquired by Binance, and the CEO was like a Philippine guy with not really a great background in crypto or even finance. So it was a little bit too shady. So I jumped out of it, took some losses. It is what it is. But then the swipe was transformed into the Binance card. So Binance card is actually using the swipe platform, but there is no longer a swipe card. So that's why there's no social media post. So if you take a look at it, the pinned tweet is from 2021, and the last post from swipe is actually from February 2022, so over a year ago. And even if we go to their website, you cannot even buy the card here. You can simply use the platform, and again they just talk about BNB here, not the SXP token anymore. So the SXP token became worthless. So that's probably some kind of fraud, because they gave promises to investors and then people invested in the SXP token and then nothing happened with it. And now a lot of the customer funds are transferred somewhere offshore, who knows where. So yeah, this is a fiasco, to be honest, this Swipe thing. But anyway, the platform continues, and the Binance card is currently using the Swipe platform. So there's that. So I don't know, an orange flag, probably a red flag, or a major red flag when you think about it. But anyway, that's the situation there. Then from January this year, 2023, $840 million was deposited into 8 companies owned by Binance and Zao. So they don't make a distinction here, but at the end of March, all but one of the accounts had a balance of 0. So there could be some, like, what's going on here. But this is again a little bit annoying reporting, because now they say $840 million was deposited into 8 companies owned by Binance and Zao. So does this mean that Binance and Zao are both owners? Or is it like 7 of the 8 companies are owned by Binance and 1 is owned by Zao? And at the end of March, all but one of the accounts had balance of 0. So all but one. So what is the account that had some balance? And how much is the balance? So again, when you read these kind of articles, it's just like they try to paint a picture like there's a massive fraud going on. But then the actual reporting is a little bit misleading, because they don't report the other side of the equation, which is the output. They just say how much money went in. So it's annoying. But this is a major red flag for sure here. So multiple Binance accounts then wired, basically during this year 2023, $162 million offshore to a foreign account belonging to a Singapore company owned by Binance's back office manager, Guang Ying Cheng, maybe that's how I say it. Anyway, let's call it Chen. So Chen got $162 million. So for me, this looks like a siphoning of money for sure. Like no doubt about it. So Chen has received quite a bit of money, 162 million. And not only that, Sigma Chain, which is owned by the CC Binance, also sent $32 million to Chen. So $200 million to Chen. Who knows how much money CC Binance has actually siphoned from Binance, money that really wasn't his. Or maybe it was. That's again not really reported in this article here. So if you read this article, it paints a very dire picture. So again, let's talk about the ramifications here. What does this mean? So let's talk about the worst case scenario. So the worst case scenario here is exactly what happened with FTX. So FTX locked customer deposits because there was a bank run on deposits when all these news and the lawsuits and all these things piled up, and people started withdrawing money from FTX, and then they locked the funds. So if you had money on FTX, you basically lost that money. The money is not gone, it's been taken out. You probably will never see your money again if you had money on FTX. If you had money outside FTX, then you were actually pretty fine. Because if we take a look at the total market cap of crypto, 8th of November caused a drop about 25% in the total crypto market cap. So some tokens, of course, took a bigger loss. So if you held the FT token, FTX's own token, that of course went basically to zero. But if you held other assets, 25% drop is not like end of the world. And again, that was the absolute bottom. And after that drop happened, then we had a major 67% run up on crypto markets. So if a similar situation happens with Binance, that all the accounts are locked, if you had money inside Binance, you can pretty much say goodbye to the funds, but that's probably going to be the end of the bear market as well. So we'll see a massive drop, but that's going to be an absolute banger buying opportunity. And the same basically happened with the Bitcoin chart here as well. So if we take a look at Bitcoin, what happened on 8th of November when the withdrawals were locked, again, this is about 27% drop on Bitcoin as well. So you're pretty much fine as long as you just take money out of Binance. So if the worst case happens and Binance holds the withdrawals, that's probably going to be the end of Binance. And also there's going to be a significant drop. Who knows, maybe we go all the way down to 16,000, which means about a drop of 35%. But that's going to be an absolute buying opportunity here, unless other exchanges go down eventually as well. But hey, who knows what's going to happen. But that's basically the worst case scenario. Another scenario that could happen is, like I said, this reporting here is only one side of the equation. So $11 billion went into these, or $12 billion if you count the Merit Peak and the Sigma chain together. If we count all of these $12 billion, we don't know how much of that is actually still controlled by Binance, not siphoned away. But there are a couple $100 million that have left the company, and we don't know if that's intentional money that went out or if it's actually siphoned illegally or unethically. So if that's the case, then we have an example here from 2020, because there's a company called BitMEX, and BitMEX got basically sued by whatever entity. Let's see if it actually says here. It doesn't CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, sued the BitMEX, and they alleged that BitMEX has looted $440 million from the platform. So what happened here? This happened in 2020, and the lawsuit is already done and dusted. So if you take a look at the CFTC.gov, what happened here is BitMEX paid $100 million in civil monetary penalty, and the people who and another $50 million as a penalty for some other things. So $150 million as fines. And then I think BitMEX is still running. At least the funds are safe. So yeah, that's basically it. They paid a fine and everything continues as usual. And even if you take a look at the CEO, Arthur Hayek, he basically just paid a fine of personal $10 million here as well. Where does it say it? It doesn't say it on this article. I had another article, but basically Arthur just paid $10 million and that's it. He's a free man. So that's basically the upside here. So if I was just investing inside Binance, I would just take my money out. Like, why would you keep money there when all of these things are happening? The worst case scenario, again, is that you lose all the money you have on Binance. So just take your money out. You're pretty safe, and you don't have to go all in on stables if you don't want to. You can do it. Personally, I'm not going all in on stables at this moment in time, because it doesn't look to me. It looks to me more like they're trying to paint Binance as an absolute terrible organization, but they don't report the other side. So that makes me question the whole narrative. Like, is it really that bad? because it doesn't seem as bad as FTX, in my opinion, but it could be. So for that reason, I would take my money at least out of Binance if I were you. So the question, are funds safe on Binance? In my opinion, no. I would take the money out, let the dust settle, and then you can use Binance again when the dust has settled. So there's no, you only lose a couple dollars in transaction fees if you take money out. Of course, if you are paying taxes, you may have to pay taxes if you have had gains. But then again, if you have losses more than gains, then you can deduct those losses in taxes as well. So in my opinion, it's a good idea to withdraw money, even though there may be some tax, how do I say, side effects. Anyway, that's basically it for this video. So it's bad. It looks very bad, but it's probably not as bad. So that's basically it for this video. You do what you want. Comment down below this video. What do you think? How bad is it? And what are you going to do with your funds on Binance? And please like and subscribe to the channel as well. That helps keep the dream alive. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.